salvation ultimately belongs to the Lord. I got that from listening to Jane's preaching yesterday, and I want to make it applicable for you. So let's go right into it. In Joseph's story, he gets into prison, wrongly accused, but nevertheless, he's looking after people, he's doing well, and so he becomes kind of like the second person in charge. There's a reoccurring theme here in the life of Joseph. One day, two prisoners come. They're fresh. They are accused of doing something wrong to the Pharaoh. They're prominent. One is the cupbearer, so he's looking after the wine, and the other one is the baker. He's looking after the bread of the king. And one night, both dream. So again, two dreams, like we heard in Genesis 37. So there's a link there. And every time there's two dreams, the story is going to take a turn. Now, each of those dreams actually makes them really nervous. Joseph asks what the dreams were. But here's the detail. Something has changed in Joseph. They said to him, "We have entered in dreams. There's no one to interpret them." And Joseph said to them, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Please tell them to me." That's a different stance of when he had his two dreams and he was saying, "Behold, let me tell you about the dream that I dreamed." There's a different humility about it. And so two dreams. One dream from the cupbearer is that there were three branches. And it budded, it blossoms, and then there are grapes. And the cup of the Pharaoh is in the hand of the cupbearer. And then it presses it into Pharaoh's cup, and he gives him the wine. The interpretation is, interestingly, from Joseph. He will be pardoned. You'll be elevated. You'll be lifted up on the third day. The interpretation of the other story is a bit different. The baker gets really courageous. "Oh, all right, let me tell you my story." And he says, "Well, I baked bread for the baker, but the birds were eating it out of my basket on my head." And then this is what Joseph says: "You will also be elevated, but you will be elevated to be hanged." On the third day, which was the Pharaoh's day, his birthday, the Pharaoh actually does that. He elevates both. One, he elevates to forgiveness and restoration, back to his place with the king. And the other one, he elevates to be killed, to be executed. Think of another person who has been elevated on the third day, both to pardon everyone and both to give his body for the guilt of the world. The crazy thing about the story is that we don't know who really is guilty in that story. We don't know if the cupbearer or the baker, of any one of them, is actually accused rightly or wrongly. With Jesus, we know that he was accused wrongly. And still, the wine and the bread speak of his forgiveness, his restoration, the blood that covers everything, and the body that was broken for the sins of the world. If that is true, if God can use the life story of a baker and of of just a cupbearer somewhere in ancient Middle East, then he must be serious about the life of Jesus. And it means that God is sharing the story of salvation through all sorts of ways. Here's my take. If God has a story of salvation to be told, let him use me. How can you share the story of salvation? How can you be somebody who forgives the sins of the world through the blood that has been given to you by Jesus? How can you be the person who gives his body as a living sacrifice? The good news of the New Testament is that we get to live because Jesus died. as much like the cupbearer who got to live because somebody else died. That's our story. We get to live because Jesus gave his life. God bless you guys. I'm amazed at the Bible. Read it because it's so good. God bless you. Have a wonderful week.